Today is the 16th of September 2020 and I have a man here with me. I'm here in Newport from Limerick. Meehan is his name, a great friend of mine. Know him for years. He's a great storyteller and a fine singer. And he hails originally from Barrington's Bridge, and then he lived in Bruree for a time, and now he lives in Corbally in Limerick. So Sean now is going to start off and tell us a story and sing a song.
Ladies and gentlemen, could I have your attention for about 8 to 9 minutes? I'm going to tell a story about a young girl. She lived in the mid-20s in the eastern part of the country. She immigrated to New York at the age of 16, where she seemed to do well for herself. After about 20 years, she returned home on a holiday, and her brother had married. He had a wife and family in the house where she was born and reared. She was a highfalutin type of Yank. She was all, I guess, this and I guess that and I guess the other things. It was all about how they lived in America, how they eat, how they drank, and how they dressed in America. After a couple of weeks at home, she told her friends she wasn't returning to America. At this point in time, she'd put her eye on a bachelor farmer. This man was in his 40s. He lived about a half a mile away. This farmer now, he had a good sized farm, 2-story house with no toilet, a pump in the yard, and he had 24 or 5 dairy cows and a whitehead bull on a featherstone. He was a very efficient type of farmer. He enjoyed life. He went to hurling matches and football matches, and he went to the local pub and he met his friends and he had a few drinks. He was a popular man amongst his friends. He also had what they call dry money in the bank. And anybody had dry money in the bank, they knew how to mind it. They wouldn't be bringing it out and spending it on foreign holidays or anything like that. And it was handed down actually from generation to generation and could spend many years in the bank. He was a holy type of a man. He said his rosary every night. That was handed down to him from his father and mother. But this highfalutin Yank, she got created him, and the next thing she was in love with him. And the next thing there was a marriage. It was a very quick marriage. His friends were a bit surprised, but at the same time they were glad that he married a very wealthy Yank, as they thought. When she married him, the first thing she done, she took him to the bank and she got him to open up what they call a joint account. That meant she would assist to his assets in the bank. Then she set about making a Yank out of him. She had to dress in Yankee clothes and shorts and all that, and that didn't go down too well with Tom. Then she stopped him going to the local pub. She said that he was mixing with the riff-raff. That's what she thought of his friends, riff-raff. That was her way of doing things. Then she taught him how to eat like the American style. Thomas was used to having his dinner in the middle of the day, and she had the dinner in the evening. And he had to eat slowly. He had to spend at least an hour eating his dinner, the American style. She wouldn't allow him to drink a glass of Guinness. She made out that was hogwash. He'd have to drink a drop of red wine or white wine. At this point in time, Tom was very isolated from his friends. She had what they call divide and conquer. The only thing she was missing at this time was the whip. She was in complete control. His friends weren't too happy at this point in time. They found out that she didn't subscribe anything to the renovation of the house. Oh God, I'm not so clear now. She got the house, of course, renovated. Everything had to go. Everything was cleared out of the house, including his rosary beads and his holy water font that he was given by his grandmother. She made out to the waste of time to be praying or blessing himself. The man was left without holy water in the house, he couldn't bless himself. His friends at this time were not too happy. They had found out she didn't subscribe $1 towards the renovation of the house. And they began to make inquiries to know what she was at in America. And they found out that she was an escort girl in New York. And she wasn't escorting men to see the skyscrapers in New York. She was escorting men to four-poster beds. Now that didn't go down too well. Another thing she had done, she had stopped sleeping with Tom. She said that he was snoring. He had to find his own bed and his own room. His friends were not too happy at all about this when he heard what she was at. Now, I suppose Tom was lucky. If he kept sleeping with us, he'd have probably got gonorrhea from her. They made her very unwelcome and they let her know that she'd have to go. She packed her bags and she got a one-way ticket back to New York. But before she went, she transferred Tom's dry money into her account. And she took out a large loan on the farm that Tom would not be even to pay the interest on it. In other words, she took his farm and his dry money in her pocket. She left him with nothing. He went down slowly and his friends and neighbours rallied round him, but to no avail. He died before his time, long before his time. He died of a broken heart. The bank were about to take his farm before he died. Now, that would have been an isolated case. There wouldn't have been too many cases like that in Ireland at that time, but there were a few all right. I don't think that would happen today. People are wiser. What happened was Tom wasn't wise enough. He wasn't what they call street wise enough for her. She was more than wise. She was devious. She simply cleaned him out. It was a sad ending for Tom, and those things I suppose happen. You take life as it comes. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Good man, Sean. I'm not sure that I mentioned this man's age, and if I didn't, he's 88 years of age, and a very fresh man for that. Now he's going to sing a song, Upton Ambush.
Many homes are filled with sorrow and with sadness. Many hearts are filled with anguish and with pain. For old Ireland now she hangs her head in mourning, for the men who fell at Upton for Sinn Féin. Let the moon shine tonight along the valley, where those men who fought for freedom now are laid. May they rest in peace, those men who died for Ireland, and who fell at Upton ambush for Sinn Féin. Some were thinking of their mothers, wives and sweethearts. More were thinking of their dear old Irish home. Do they think of how they drilled along the valley, or when they marched out from Cork City to the Doom? The morning cry ran out, fixed bayonets and the gallant lads, they fixed him for the fray. Gallantly they fought and died for Ireland, round the lonely woods at Upton far away. Let the moon shine tonight along the valley, where those men who fought for Ireland now are laid. May they rest in peace, those men who died for Ireland, and who fell at Upton ambush for Sinn Féin. Thank you very much. Thank you.